Hey everyone, and welcome back. You probably just watched the intro video. So now we're going to move on to what session one will cover. So we're going to be looking at creating folders, sharing the types of permissions and how they're inherited, looking at stuff within your drive and how we could stay organized, creating templates, and then pulling from other areas to save copies inside of our drive so that we could use them in Classroom eventually, and then how we can use the different menu features inside of Drive. So I'm going to start by taking us over here and opening up a blank tab. So mine should default to google.com. This is where we want to begin. Make sure that you're in the correct account. So to do that, we come on up here and we hover over the picture or the letter that is there. I have my picture because I like to know which account I'm in. I have different pictures for different accounts. And I see that I'm in the correct account. If I'm not, I could simply click on it. I could add another account, or I can sign out completely and start from the beginning. And those of you who have people in your house and sharing computers or sharing computers in the school, you might need to sign out of all accounts. Okay. Later on, what we'll do is we'll touch on the Chrome identity that you're in, but we're not going to do that now. So I'm in the right account and I want to head on over to Drive. So I click on my waffle, the top right corner, and I click on Drive. So if I ever get lost, just know that having the waffle up here will always bring you to where you need to be. It has all the apps that are necessary for working within your Google account, whether you're on the enterprise for the DOE or if you're on your own school domain. So this is my Drive. My Drive is very large and very messy. So we're going to look at some of the ways that we can kind of organize and streamline what we have in front of us. So your account might look like this, or it might look another way. So this is sort of the icon view. If you come over here and you hover over this, this is going to change it to list view, and you'll see that changes as well. That lets you know which view you're looking at. And this will give me in a list. It'll have the person who owns it, last time it was opened, gives you more detail versus the other view. It's up to you which whenever you like. It's your drive. So, but one thing to always know is that you're always going to have the folders first. Folders will always appear up here. And then when you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll start seeing your loose files, slides, whatever it is that you create. So I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom of mine because I have a lot of folders in here. It'll take all day for us to get down. So I'm going to switch back to my grid view just by coming over to this icon and checking on it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can manipulate the other views that we're looking at. So like I mentioned, we're seeing it from the perspective of folders first, right? And you'll notice that mine it starts with numbers, and then it eventually winds up in alphabetical order. So if I wanted to change that, see right here, I know it's in alphabetical order because it says name. So I have it in alphabetical order from numbers to A through Z. I want to change that. I will click on this arrow right here, and it's going to reverse my order. Just be patient for a moment because we are recording, so it'll change. It's going to then flip all of my my resources from A to Z from Z to A. So see. I love when this takes forever. So you see on here now that I hit that arrow, it now has from the end of the alphabet in the reverse order. But I don't like it that way. I'm going to hit my arrow and have it switch back. And when you hover, it says reverse sort direction. So the other things that we can do while in here, like I said, it has name, but you can change this to last modified. So once it opens up, you'll see that we can tap here and we can change who and what we're seeing by clicking this. And we're going to look at it from the vantage point of this is alphabetical order, or was it last modified by anyone, last modified by me, or last opened by me? So if you want to look at things as by when you've opened them, because you know that that's the last thing that you touched, you would go here, last modified by me, whatever it is. But if I check any of these, it will change the order of what we're seeing. Just in case you're like, why does my drive look different? it might be because you have changed this at some point in time. So just keep that in mind. You don't ever have to do anything here, but in case things look different, just know that you might have either changed this or you might have changed the reversal direction by clicking on the arrow. Sometimes it happens when you don't even realize it, and I'm guilty of doing that too. So some of the other things that we're going to see now, here it is. It's now in a different order. Some of the other things that we can do in here to make our life a little bit easier is we can color code. You'll notice that some of my folders are different colors. I like to do this so that it draws my attention to specific things. For example, if I wanted to, let's see, I'm going to go into, just do Genius Activities. I want this to be a particular color just for myself. This is not going to change for other people. I can come here and you'll notice that you have icons that lit up here. I could either click on these, or I could also right click, or if you're on a Mac, Control Tap, the same type of menu pops up. And I can come over here to where it says change color. So again, this is all about the aesthetic piece. And this is where you can make modifications so that your eyes go directly to this in case you have a lot of stuff like I do. So maybe this folder you want to be red, or maybe you're talking about your ELA is all red, your math is all blue. You can color code by the particular subject that you're in or by the class that you have. You can color code any folder at any point in time. So that should turn in about a second. But again, we are on a little bit of a delay because I am broadcasting right now. So when it comes to the folders now, we have the different types. You'll see that some of mine have a little head in them. Some of them don't. These are not shared. That means that they're mine and mine alone. Some documents in there might be shared, but for the most part, this permission on the folder is not to be shared. Okay. And then this one is a shared folder, and I know it because there's a little head inside of it, which means that whatever permission I set for that folder, everything I create inside of there will be shared with the same permission. So you want to be careful when you're creating shared folders in that nature. So what I will do right now is I'm going to create a folder with you. So we'll click New. This is where all of our creation happens, right? We can create our folders, our docs, our sheets. We can do everything here. I do like to start with creating folders if I'm starting fresh because it helps keep me organized. You could also create folders within folders. So you'll have your subfolders, okay? So I click folder and it'll ask me for a name. So real quick, I will put this in as Google Drive right size, and I'll click create. So again, this is going to fall in line with whatever I have set up here. So I have it as last modified, and it should pop up at the top or at the bottom because I have it in descending order, which is fine. So you'll see that it's not shared, but I'm going to go into it right now and we'll look at what the sharing permissions will be. So there's nothing in here. This is my breadcrumb trail. As I create more folders, this will extend out if I create folders within here. But any document I create inside of here will inherit these permissions. So right now it's not shared with anyone. What I will do is I am going to share it with somebody so you can see the notifications that I get once I create documents inside of the folder. So I'm going to share this folder with Liz. Okay, so we'll put in Galvin. I love it. I use all my teammates as guinea pigs. Okay, so I'm going to add somebody in my organization to this folder. I have the choice of having her be an editor or a viewer. Depends on the nature of this folder. I want her to be an editor because I want her to contribute to it, or I can just have her be a viewer if I just want her to see things. And then I click send. I could give her a message as well, telling her what it is that I'm sharing. So now that I've sent a notification to her that she's on this folder, this pops up. That means that it's a shared folder. Anything I create in here, Liz has the rights to. She has the rights to add it, to add to it. She has the right to make modifications to it. So when I go click new and I click document, I'm going to be prompted that this is going to be shared with the other folks. So if you don't want it to be shared, be mindful that either to not create it inside of a shared folder, or once you create this document, and again, we'll get into this more in depth in the docs portion. Once you're in here, you would pull back permission by coming over here. So I'll show you this really quick, even though we'll do this in docs. Click share. Okay. It says private to only me, but that's actually not really true because it is inside of a shared folder right now. So Liz technically has privileges to it. So again, like I mentioned, Liz is part of this. So if I don't want to have Liz as part of this particular document, I'm going to have to manually go in and I'm going to have to remove her. Okay. Because when you have people on a shared folder, everyone winds up with the same rights. So I would actually have to remove Liz from here and then click save. Right. So it's important to note if you are creating something in a shared folder that you go back in and you make those modifications in here, because even though it says private, it's private, but not to the folks that are enabled on the folder. Okay, so I'm going to head back over here. Okay, that's the document, and then this is our this is the folder that we were just in, and here is the choice board that I just created. But you'll still see that if I click in here, Liz is still on the folder. I just pulled back permissions for that particular document. If I wanted to share this folder out with others, I would have to come down here and get the link, because you can share a link with folks. But again, be very careful with what you're sharing. You might want to stay within your domain. If you're not staying within your domain, and if you're having it set so that it's anybody with a link, you might want to make sure that it's on view only. But again, you might want to share out a full folder, or you might not want to share out a full folder. It's up to you. Just be careful with your settings, which are all in here that you can change. And remember, you can always change one document inside of the folder. So I can make the document the thing that is shared out. So see right here, I could restrict it to no one. I can do anyone with the link, or I could do people within my organization, and then I can change these rights to viewer, editor, organizer. So when it comes to a folder, you only have two options, because it's either people can look in it or people could add to it and edit things that are inside of there. Whereas when you have a document, you have another option for commenting, but we'll get to that when we get to docs. So again, this is my breadcrumb trail. I can find my way out if I ever get lost by clicking here or heading on over to my left side, which has all of my links to where I can access my information. So if things are shared with me, if things were recent, so I use this one often because if I want to head back to something I was working on yesterday, I click on recent and it will show me the last few things that I have set and the things that I've closed out, because I usually have 90,000 tabs open. So there are a lot of other tips and tricks. The last thing we're going to look at in terms of using Drive right now is the search feature, which winds up becoming one of the more useful things that you'll wind up using. Oh, snap. Okay. Here we go. Gotta love when that happens. So recent will show the last things that I was working on. So you'll see them all right here. And I mentioned we're going to go on over to the search. So if you're like me, you have lots of stuff. We'll talk a little bit later about naming conventions and how we can ensure that we keep things nice and organized. But if you do want to search a drive, it is as simple as going and typing in a keyword. This might produce a lot of stuff. I could type Google and hit enter and see what pops up. Oops, I actually put in Google, and you're going to see there's going to be a lot of stuff that pops up, which is fine. If I want to get a little bit more granular, what I can do is click here, and I could see what type of document this is. So if I know for a fact it was a presentation, I can click on presentation and it will start narrowing down anything that has Google in it that is a presentation. It could be in the title, it could be in the presentation format. It will search through all of them. If I am not the owner, I could search for anyone who did it. I could do has keywords, the data was modified. There are tons of things that I can do to get a little bit deeper into, searching for my presentation. And then I click search and it will pop up with all of my Google type things. So this is really good for you to know is there, because I know I get lost. I know we all get lost sometimes. But when we start doing docs, we'll look at some of the naming conventions and things that are important to do. So, and then over here, just want to forget, if you click on these carrots right here, what they'll do is they'll expand your folders as well over here on the side. So this will take a couple of seconds because I do have a lot of folders. But when the arrow is pointing down, what it does is it expands all of your folders on the side. And you have the ability, like I mentioned before, to be able to drag and drop. So if I wanted to, let's say this particular document, I can click on this and I can drag this over to any one of these folders. You'll see that it starts to highlight. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to bring it right back over. But it is that simple. Okay, very simple to be able to drag and drop. And then I know I'm going off topic, but I forgot that there was one other important thing I wanted to show you, because a lot of us used or have used or do use Microsoft, right? We have old PowerPoints, maybe we have old Word documents, maybe it was for accessibility reasons, whatever it is. If you have something on your computer that you want to add, photos, PDFs, really simple. You can either go into a folder and drop it, or you can drop it just into your drive. So what I will do is I'm going to head down to the folder we just created, right? Again, in the spirit of keeping things organized, I will click on this. And what I can do from here is I can click on new, but instead of doing create doc, I'm going to do file upload. I can also do a full folder upload. So if you have a nice organized folder on there, you can do that. But what I will do is I'm going to click on file. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly upload a file by coming to new and file upload. And again, it really could be anything. It could be a video, it could be a PDF, it could be pictures, Word document, PowerPoint, whatever it is that you want to add here. I'll add this choice board PDF. And what you'll see is it pops up in here. I can't edit the PDF as, a PDF editor with Adobe. But when I click on it, it'll give me the option to open with something. So I could open it up with Docs. I can open it up with Cami, which again is one of the apps that I highly recommend. But this was something that I created in Docs and I saved it as a PDF. But just to show you, you can pretty much add anything that you want into these folders that you've had in the past and you want to keep and preserve.